Alright guys, so my replacement fan came in for the second card. Um, so I'm going to go ahead and get this fan replaced, get the thermal paste replaced, and the thermal pads replaced. Now the thermal pads go along here, here, and here. And of course obviously the thermal paste goes on the die there. But I mean, it's a pretty massive die. One of the bigger ones I've seen. Of course the heat sink for these old 5800s is right here. Of course, you can see where the die or where the thermal pads sit for those other chips. I've already cleaned off all the paste and the old thermal pads. The paste was extremely dry, um, flaky almost, and all the thermal pads were dried out and cracked and whatnot. The heatsink was packed full of dust. Um, Here's the thermal pad replacements, and of course the thermal paste there. I've already, like I said, I've already cleaned up this card. This is the old fan that doesn't function anymore. Now the new fan, for some reason, is, I didn't realize I was buying an Asus branded heatsink, but I mean, it doesn't really matter. I mean, I've already made sure everything lines up. They match up perfectly. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this one repaired, this one put back together, and then I'll show the breakdown of this one, the cleaning and whatnot of this one. I'm gonna get started on this. I hope you guys enjoy. Alright, one down, one to go. Don't judge me too harshly on my thermal pads. It's the first time I've done it. Now I just gotta get this one taken apart. And I'll show you just how much filth is in these things. Alright, so screws for this thing. We have 11 screws in the back here. Got these 2 screws here, then you come out. Then the casing just held together by plastic clips that you can not necessarily snap apart, but after the screws you can take it out so you just pop it apart. So I forgot about the few screws on the back here. Basically holds the heatsink on. We'll go ahead and get these removed. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 screws in the back here. Now there are a couple wires that hold the PCB together to this top shield that needs to come out. This one's for the fan. You gotta be very careful on, make sure you don't break it. Alright. And then you have one on the other side for the S video connection. It's the same way. I'd be pretty gentle with it. Okay. There we go. Alright. So you see the thermal pads here on the front side. Of course, I've already taken the thermal pads off the back side. Here, here, and here. That cleaned up fairly nicely. Let's see if I can get a good shot of this. Alright, time for the heatsink. Alright. Thermal paste. Let's get everything put back together. I seriously just put that on backwards. Yep, I put it on backwards. What is wrong with me? Alright guys, I'm going to go ahead and get this finished, put back together. I'm going to get these installed, both of these cards installed in the Precision. I'll get Windows 10 loaded alongside Windows 7 in the dual boot, and I will be back once all that is done. There's two there's two FX 5800s. I had to scrap those. Too many issues with it, which is probably why the person who had this computer previously got rid of it. That along with various other issues this thing was having that I was able to get resolved, but those video cards, I just haven't been able to get those to function correctly. Upon first inspection, I thought they were having issues overheating. No, when I first started testing them, they'd run fine for 15-20 minutes, and the video will start cutting out on them. Thought that was heating issues, so as you saw earlier in the video, I repasted them, changed the thermal pads, gave them good cleaning, put everything back together. I actually did that a couple times just to make sure I have everything put back together correctly. Still have the same issues though. Ran great for 15-20 minutes, and then the video would start cutting out. First the video would, the coloring would get all skewed on them. Then it started cutting it out, blank screen, come back on, and then it'd go out completely. I think those video cards are just damaged internally somewhere, and I'm not going to spend any more time on it. I've got better things to do, other things I would like to do than to chase those issues. So for now, I have put a GTX 1060 in there. Now eventually I'm going to upgrade these hard drives to solid state drives, but that's going to be further down the road. I'm going to have to get some more solid state drive on hand before I do that. But I do now have a video capture card, so I'm gonna get this thing. I'll put the casing, the side panel back on, get it hooked back up to my capture card, and record the footage on it just to show the guys the ins and outs of it as it is right now. Run a couple benchmark tests, kind of show you, the specs of it and whatnot. So I'm gonna get that put back together, and I will be right back for you guys. I hope you guys enjoy. Alright, so you can see Windows 7, Windows 10. Alright, so as you can see, I already have some stuff preloaded on here. Steam, I got Destiny and Fallout 6 just to test a couple games with. Nothing to test the system too hard. A few benchmarking tools. Because I'll go ahead and show you guys the specs on here real quick. Now, I am still having issues with one of my DIMM slots, which you guys, I don't know if you guys noticed the error during boot, in the BIOS boot, but it was detecting that one of the sticks that failed. It's actually one of the DIMM slots that's failed, not the sticks of memory. I have tested several sticks on that, and it seems to be that slot. But with 40 gigs of memory, that's still plenty to do what I need to do with it. But as you can tell, I've got two Xeons in there. It's the X5690s, 3.5 gigahertz or 3.47 if we're to be exact. Which gives me 12 physical cores and 24 threads total. It's a pretty beast, a beast of a machine here. And of course, I got my GTX 1060 in there. Do that up and running. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and run a couple benchmarks on here. Forgot to get these installed. I'll be back in just a second. Alright, so I forgot to press record again, so I've missed the ordeal I had with this first 3D Mark bench test. It kept locking up on me. So I had to force close it. I'm going to give this PC Mark 10 a try. See how it runs, and then we'll try that 3D Mark again after this. Alright, I didn't want to bore you guys with watching this thing go through the benchmarks. It took about an hour. But got the results back. It's pretty much what I expected, just mediocre. Nothing extraordinary. Although for a PC from 2011, back 11 years ago, it'd be extraordinary, but by today's standards, it's nothing to gawk at. So here's the online results, basically the same results that I had, just comparing it with other systems of, looks like from 2020, so a couple years ago. So like I said, nothing spectacular. They're running at a resolution of 1080, I'm sure gaming will be plenty for it. Speaking of gaming, I'm going to launch a quick game here just to see how it handles, basically a game at max settings at 1080. And I hope the audio comes through for the game. Just realized I hadn't tested that part of it with this capture card, so we'll see how it goes. I'm leaving the task manager up there because I don't have my in-game inlay loaded on this particular computer showing the specs of everything, so I'm sorry for the tackiness of it, but it's all I got right now. I just don't feel like loading everything up right now. Try and get to a spot where I have a good overview of everything. I don't know why the coloring looks off, but it's not hitting the system very hard right now. Although there is not very much going on, so not too surprised it's not hitting the system hard right now. That coloring is horrible, isn't it? Ooh. Who's shooting? Hello there.
Hey! Blood! The divine light. I can see it.
Anyway, that's about it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the last couple of videos. If you hadn't seen the first video on this PC, that's basically where I went in and got everything cleaned up and loaded and whatnot. But I will link that first video down in the description. Go check it out.